would say, part of my testimony. This is what brought me, or I guess I should say what woke me up, started to wake me up. It wasn't until about maybe a year after I had this dream that I started to ask questions and kind of want to know what this dream was about. I didn't do anything right away because it kind of scared me, and it scared me enough to really want to start figuring out what was going on with my life. I've always been raised in church. I grew up in church, and I would say I've always believed in the Lord, but I wasn't necessarily taking my walk with Him very seriously up until about maybe I want to say maybe it's 3 years ago. This dream I had about 5 years ago, I think now. It could have been 6 years ago, I can't exactly remember. It's been a little bit of time, but since the solar eclipse just happened, the Lord reminded me of this dream that I had. I remember seeing the sun and the moon, the eclipse happening, it was happening in, I think, totality. I can't remember. I'll have to pop the screen up here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. I'll have visuals so you can kind of see. But, so starting out in the dream, I saw the sun and the moon going into the eclipse. I also saw a nice little line. I think they call it a solar flare, and actually it's crazy because that happened in this eclipse. There was a solar flare. There was a big solar flare in the dream that I had, that it almost looked like it was a comet or something that was hitting at the same time that the sun and moon went into totality, or they were right in front of each other where they're passing by. Like I said, I'll put a visual up here so you can kind of see as it's happening. But in that moment, there was a change in the picture. It turned to the Lord, and the Lord had turned and told me the words that I don't think any Christian wants to hear when the rapture happens. He told me, "Depart from me, for I never knew you." And that woke me up. I remember snap and turned to me and my sister, and I had told her, "I don't know if I believe," and that woke me up. That really scared me in that dream, because at that point, when that's happening, it's too late. What are you gonna do when that happens and you don't believe and He comes back? And that's gonna happen, and those are the words that I never want to hear. That woke me up. I would say He finally got to me. How long? It was I started struggling and going through a lot of struggles at that point. There was a lot happening in my life when that happened, and I think that the Lord used that as stepping stones to wake me up. It wasn't until about, I want to say it's 2 to 3 years ago at this point now that I really started taking my walk with the Lord seriously. And it was because of a specific place that I was working at, and definitely used that place to wake me up. That dream didn't wake me up enough. A lot happened, but it's kind of crazy now that I think back to it, because there was a lot happening. And now that this eclipse just happened, it is all biblical. It all matched in the Bible. Everything that I read when I did my research and I finally started to dig through this dream that the Lord gave me, and I didn't fully start even realizing what happened now until the eclipse happened and He reminded me of this. So I feel like this moment in time is biblical. It's talked about it in the Bible about eclipses happening. You can take what you want from this information. I'm just telling you what the Lord did with me, and I feel like that He's telling me it's time to share this. So I really think with this eclipse, it was supposed to represent, and I think the next few of them that are supposed to be happening are really signs of telling everybody it's time to repent. It's time to either give your life to him if you haven't, or get your hearts right with him now, because the time is coming. And if you're not ready, he will leave you and he will tell you those words, just like what was heard in that dream. And it's scary, and I'm not trying to scare anybody, but it's a serious thing. And I'm sharing this because I don't want anybody left behind. I want all my friends and family and everybody to be with me in heaven. And I'm pretty sure that if you are a follower of Christ, those are the words that you never want to hear. Those are the words that I never want to hear. And, I feel like the Lord definitely woke me up with that. And I really hope that with me sharing this, that somebody else, it will help somebody else. And please reach out to a pastor for help, or you can ask me questions and I'll try and point you in the right direction. But like I said, this is a little part of my testimony that I thought I would share with you guys, and I hope it helps somebody.